Hello, my name is Lisa Shea, and this video is part of my series on Japanese and Chinese books, movies, DVDs, and other things. So today we're going to talk about this book, which is one of my favorites, and we're going through my favorites first. So you notice that these first couple of ones that I've done are about the favorite books that I've got on my shelf, but at some point we'll get to the ones that are not quite my favorites. So this is See Your Way to Mindfulness, Ideas and Inspiration to Open Your Eye by David Schiller. And when they say open your eye, they mean eye like the you, as well as it's a play on words for the eye of the mind and the things that you see around you, a way to take in the things through photography or art or just sitting back and appreciating and helping that bring you to a better sense of peace and centeredness and mindfulness, a bunch of different things. So this is set up in a series of exercises. And for some bizarre reason, you would think they do 31 exercises so you could do one a day. But instead they do 26 exercises. So they stop on day 26 and then you could start again, or you could take 4 days off, I suppose. I would much rather have them do 31 days so that I could do a cycle and then start again. And then each time you go through it, you really learn something more and more, which is why it's one of my favorite books. This is the type of book that I like to go through for a month. And, maybe sometimes I'll take a month off, but then I go through it for a month again and see the way that my views of the different issues change. So we'll start with day 1. So this is sit still and look until the you disappears. So the idea here is that you find somewhere that you can just sit and be quiet, and it can be outside if you have access to lakes or streams or oceans or rivers or things. And if you don't have access to nature, you could sit in a controlled city park, which has some nature at least. It has trees and birds, or maybe you can just sit on a city street and watch the people walking by. And if you're inside, you can sit by a window and watch the birds fly by or watch the cars drive by or whatever it is that you can see. The idea is that you take yourself out of yourself for a short period of time and you see what the rest of the world is doing, see what nature is doing. Remind yourself that the cycles keep happening, that the clouds keep going by in the sky, and that everything is still going on in a world and you are one part of it. So in addition to the prompt, and the short description, in this case, is talking about Henry David Thoreau, who with the Walden Pond isn't that far from me, so it's a place I enjoy. They also have different pictures to help you get into the mood for the exercise. They have little quotes along with the pictures. So this one is Aristotle, "In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous." Different quotes from different cultures. So a lot of varied types of pictures and quotes and thoughts to help you think about the topic at hand. And then hopefully you go and take, even if it's just 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes to sit and really let yourself relax into what the theme of the moment is. If you're a photographer, you can take some pictures. If you're a painter or a sketcher, you can do some art. You can think up a little short story or a poem if you're a poet. So you can approach it in a number of different ways. And then on the next day or the next time that you pick up the book, you'd go on to the next exercise. So in this case, look for what is changing, and P.S. everything changes. So again, the idea that you let go of yourself for just a little while and you look at the world around you, and maybe yesterday it was sunny and today it's thunderstorming, or maybe the last time you looked at the book it was rainy and now it's snowy. So our world around us is always changing. And even if you look at something that seems to be fairly static, bridges weather, roads weather, things that we might think are fairly long lasting also still have a lifetime to them. So we look at the long-term changes about mountains slowly weathering, or we look at the short-term changes like a baby bird growing up and learning how to fly. So it's good to think about all those different things, that life is continually growing and changing, and that's the way that life goes. One of my other favorite exercises is appreciate the imperfect. And with this one, there are so many parts of our modern world which push us to try to be some sort of version of perfection. Instagram has perfect looking people in perfect looking houses, going to perfect vacations, and it can be very frustrating and depressing and make you feel like nothing is really attainable anymore. And it's important to say that whatever we are doing, we're doing the best we can and we're making progress on our goals. So if I like to do watercolors and I look at Instagram, I might see all these other amazing watercolor artists and say, well, I am awful. I can never be that good. But that's not a healthy way to look at the world. It's better to say, okay, I am beginning and I'm practicing and I've got some really cool inspiration to work towards. Let me try doing one of those things. And I may not be able to do it as well as they do, but the way that one gets better is by practicing. And maybe my version is nice in its own unique way. So think about the imperfection of the world. If you have a field of daffodils, they'll all have their own little looks and feels, and that's okay. They're still really pretty, both as individual flowers and part of the community of daffodils. So it's a good thing to do in a mindful way, to look at the world around us and say, maybe something has a little area that doesn't make it perfectly round or perfectly whatever, and that's okay. It adds to its beauty. So I enjoy all of the different exercises in here. I enjoy the pictures that they've got that help inspire you, and the quotes, the little drawings. Some of them are abstract, some of them are, line drawings of nature. And it's also important to look at these things and think about how you can apply them to your own world and not necessarily do exactly what they're telling you. So once again, we're back to exercise 26, follow a stranger. I don't know that I would really recommend to anyone to go out onto a city street and point out a random stranger and then get right up behind them and start following them everywhere. It's a way to get yourself into a fight or maybe even arrested or something. But the idea in general is to try to get out of your own comfort zone. And if you always listen to the same playlist of music and always watch the same TV shows, maybe talk to a friend and say, what is something that you really enjoy that I could give a try to? And maybe they listen to a completely different type of music than you do, and you give a listen to one of their favorite songs and say, oh, I actually appreciate some parts of this song. And it's okay if you don't love it. We all have different things that we like and that we enjoy, but it's good to stretch your mind and to try different things and look at things from different points of view and see how other people view the world, because we all live in this giant community on Earth and we all hopefully should get along together so that we can work together towards common goals. And the better that you can understand how other people view it and have a sense of the beauty of all aspects of our world, the better everything flows together. So in general, I really enjoy this book. It's the kind of book that you can go through once and get something out of it, and then you start from the beginning and go through the same exercises again, and now you get completely different things depending on the frame of mind you're in or what you're facing in your life, or all sorts of different kinds of things. And maybe you go through once and take pictures of things, maybe you go through another time and you do sketches of things, maybe you go through a third time and you do poems. So you can approach it from all sorts of different points of view. So again, the book is See Your Way to Mindfulness. The author is David Schiller. And it's, there are some books in my library that maybe I'll read once and then not touch for quite a long time. And then there's other books that I keep going back to. This is definitely one of those books that I keep going back to and that I keep out by my bed rather than keeping it off in a shelf somewhere. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have other books you'd like me to read in particular to review for this. Otherwise, I'll keep going through my library and see what we discover together. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful afternoon.